Do you think you have what it takes to tour the Prince of Darkness himself? Well, before you answer that question, let's dive into the wild and unpredictable world of Ozzy Osbourne on tour. From feuds with fellow musicians to snorting ants and drinking urine, it's clear that touring with Ozzy was not for the faint of heart. But despite all the challenges, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity to share the stage with a living legend and be a part of rock and roll history. So grab your earplugs and get ready to rock as we explore why many bands were less than thrilled to tour with Ozzy Osbourne. Back in 1979, Black Sabbath made a controversial decision to replace Ozzy Osbourne with Ronnie James Dio as their lead vocalist. The two singers had a well-known animosity towards each other, which often played out in the public eye. Not long after Dio's hiring, Ozzy publicly criticized the new incarnation of the band, claiming that Black Sabbath was now dead. Dio didn't hold back in his response. Dio didn't hold back in his response, calling Ozzy stupid, completely lacking in intelligence, and an animal. He went on to assert, "We don't bite the heads off birds, and we don't spit blood at people because we don't have to." As expected, when the opportunity arose for Dio to open for Ozzy Osbourne during his No More tour show in 1992, he refused. In fact, Dio even left Black Sabbath over a disagreement, despite Ozzy offering to have them open for a solo band. While the other members accepted the offer, Dio had different plans. He informed Black Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi that he wouldn't support a clown, referring to Ozzy. Therefore, just one night before the Ozzy Osbourne gig on November 13th, 1992, Dio made the difficult decision to depart from Black Sabbath. In retrospect, Dio explained, "I was informed during the tour that we were going to be opening for Ozzy in Los Angeles, and I declined. I'm sorry, but I have more pride than that." There was a lot of hostility being exchanged between the two camps, which created this terrible rift. When the band agreed to play the shows in LA with Ozzy, to me, that meant a reunion was on the cards, and that ultimately doomed the project. In 1982, Iron Maiden hit the road with Ozzy Osbourne for the Diary of a Madman tour. While the bands had mutual admiration, Iron Maiden guitarist Adrian Smith confessed in an interview that the experience was a bit of a nightmare. Smith recounted that Ozzy and his crew were fond of raging hard, leaving Iron Maiden's roadies to do all the heavy lifting. "We had to set up all the equipment, do sound checks, and then Ozzy's team would come in and mess everything up," Smith lamented. But the real challenge, according to Smith, was Ozzy's unpredictability. "You never knew what Ozzy was going to do next," he stated. One minute he'd be fine, the next minute he'd be off his rocker doing something completely insane. It was challenging to keep up with him. In the world of rock and metal, touring with Ozzy Osbourne was often a double-edged sword. On one hand, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to share the stage with a living legend, and on the other hand, Ozzy's unpredictable behavior could make the road a bit rocky. Motley Crue's Tommy Lee had a wild story of his own involving Ozzy snorting ants and drinking his own urine. And then there was Slayer's Tom Araya, who got hit in the face with a piece of raw chicken during one of Ozzy's shows. He confronted Ozzy backstage, and the Prince of Darkness apologized, claiming he didn't know it was him. Despite all the chaos, touring with Ozzy was also a rock and roll fantasy camp, as Megadeth's Dave Mustaine put it. Meeting his idol was everything you'd hoped it would be, and there's no denying the impact Ozzy has had on the genre. He's been an icon for over 4 decades, from his dates with Black Sabbath to his successful solo career. So while touring with Ozzy may not always be easy, it's clear that it left a lasting impression on everyone who crossed his path. And for fans of rock and metal, the stories and experiences from these tours will continue to be a part of the genre's rich history.